I was sitting in the training room. I had paid £4,000 to be there. 2 days in Poland. And that was somebody I was considered as my authority. I really respected that person. I still respect that person to this day. I sat there and I had nothing to write down. So I was thinking, what am I doing here? And the question I asked myself in my head, how much money do I need to spend to believe in myself? Because any question she was asked by somebody else, I already knew the answer. And that was the moment everything shifted. And today I want to talk about confidence and from where actually it's coming from. Because I truly believe that beauty industry sell the wrong version of it. And I will tell you what I did with £300,000 before I finally understood the difference. For most of my career, I truly believe that the confidence comes from knowledge. From being more qualified, to have another certificate to put on the wall, to master my technique, to be better at what I do. So I kept investing course after course, 3-4 times a year, and they weren't cheap. And I was investing in renovation after renovation, new equipment, new pigments, you name it. I was just spending money constantly on my business, believing it will come back to me even quicker. The issue was that money was never compounding. And I really didn't know what was the reason because I knew my technique was great. I had a feedback from my clients, I had a feedback from my colleagues, but still something didn't feel right. Because every single time when I was getting closer to actually feel more confident, I found another gap. Another gap to improve on. Another reason to not fully believe in myself. And the reason why I should spend more money to find that approval. So I spent close to £300,000 in the past 9 years of my business, building my name, my brand, my skill, and almost all of it went out as fast as it came in. Not because I was reckless, because I was scared. And it felt like I was doing something about it. And I want to talk about what actually confidence looks like. And I will give you an example. My students always watch me with my clients and they always say the same thing. Natalia, the way how you speak to them is just insane. I was like, what do you mean? And then she said to me, because she will say something to you like, oh, I would like this or that. And the way how you respond, you seem like there is no room to actually negotiate with you. And I said, like, yes. But do you know why? Because I can predict the future. She doesn't know anything about it. She doesn't know what could actually happen if we can do XYZ. And I am the professional, and I've been through many situations. I messed up many times. Trust me, we all did that, but not many people wants to talk about it. But do you know how you build confidence? Through mistakes. You must make mistakes in your field. I'm sorry if you are a perfectionist, you might think like, I can't make any mistakes. I can't do this. You have to. If you want to master something, if you want to be better than you were 6 months ago, how do you want to become more confident if you don't make any mistakes and you feel like you are not improving? Because when you make mistake, you have to learn from it. If you don't, that's bad. But that's a subject for another time. But if you will make mistake, obviously it will feel bad at the beginning because you messed up something what could be pretty bad for your client, or different kind of scenarios, even like in your everyday life. I want you to think about it, how you react, how do you talk to yourself in your head when you make a mistake. Because that little voice in your head, that little judgmental person in your head, is making you to feel worse. But what if you would twist that little voice in your head and you would say to yourself, listen, this is how I talk to myself. Natalia, okay, you messed up. It happened. But what did we learn from it? What we can implement next time to not make that mistake again? If you will fix it, this is the confidence you cannot buy. You cannot buy this type of confidence. You have to walk through the fire to gain that confidence. And it won't come from any course. You can pay even 1 million, but you can't buy this type of confidence. This type of confidence will only come to you from showing up every day and doing the work until the little voice in your head got quieter than the knowledge you got. And remember, your knowledge is the biggest asset. So let's go back to that room. £4,000 I spent, 2 days, Poland. I want to talk about it a little bit deeper because by end of the day, I didn't learn anything, not a single thing. Very disappointing when I was thinking, oh my God, I spent so much money. What a waste of money. I wish I didn't go, blah, blah, blah. You know, all this kind of stuff when you try to make yourself to feel even worse and it's not helping. It's not helping. But I want to tell you something which really shifted everything in my head. That was the best money I ever spent. Period. And you're thinking, why? You didn't learn anything. Yes, I did. Because I discovered the authority I was chasing, it was already here. It was already there all that time. I was just not believing in myself and I was looking for that perfection. Like, I need to learn this and that to feel more confident because if anyone will come to me for advice or with any problem, I will have the answer for everything. But it's impossible. So I've been chasing that permission I kept paying for. It was already inside of me. It had been there for years. I just hadn't trusted. So I had to spend a lot of money and wait for someone to tell me, Natalia, yes, you are good enough. But even if I heard that words, do you think I believe in it? No, I did not. That was the problem as well. Because I was paying money, kept investing to feel more confident, but it didn't do anything to me. Like, I needed to do that inner work inside of me to start believing in myself. That was a choice. And I spent a lot of money, and that was the most expensive way to find confidence. If I could take that time back and, for example, find a mentor, even pay half of it to speed up the whole process and to realize this way sooner, I would do it. I would do it. But if you will look back in the day, everyone was saying the same thing. You need to invest in your courses. You have to do masterclass after masterclass. That is not true. You need to invest in your knowledge. You need to get better, but there with a common sense. Because I see a lot of good artists going to master classes 3-4 times a year. They repeat the same pattern. And that's why I want to talk about it. And I want to open your eyes and sit down with yourself and ask yourself a question. What am I really chasing? If you're getting positive feedback from your clients, if you are getting positive feedback from your peers, that's a sign for you to sit down with yourself and have a really honest conversation. And I want to say something as well. Because when I stopped looking for that external permission, everything changed. Obviously, not overnight, but the direction changed. And direction is everything. After that training, I stopped signing up for any more courses, masterclasses, and I started doing something I never done before. I actually looked at my business from completely different side. And I want you to do this as well, because I've been looking at my business as a service provider, as a semi-permanent makeup artist. But I never look at it from the business side, as a business owner, because by end of the day, you are a business owner. You are a business owner. And as soon you will stop thinking as a person who only provide the treatment, the sooner you will grow. And then when I looked at my business and actually starting analyzing and understanding where my clients are coming from and why they're coming to see me, and how everything looks, the traffic, how my page is looking on my Instagram, how do I convert my clients, what is the reason why they don't book or why they coming back. I needed to look into that part of my business. And I have to tell you something as well, because when you are good at what you do, and I know many of you who are watching this, you know you are good. You are happy with your results. People are telling you are good. I don't know what else you need to hear or what else needs to happen for you to believe in yourself. I hope this video will happen for a reason. After you watch it, you will understand some patterns as well. Maybe you're repeating the same patterns. But I felt like I finished the game. Like there's nothing new for me to learn. And at first, it just felt a little bit uncomfortable. I felt anxious. Where am I going? What is going to happen now? Because I felt like I always needed that direction to feel safe in my business as well. But then I realized being good at what you do is one thing, but building a business that grows, that compounds, that doesn't require from you to spend £300,000 to believe itself, that's completely different game, honestly. And as soon as I changed the direction, and my direction was, how do I build my business that doesn't require my presence 24/7? If you are in that cycle, course after course, I'm not telling you to stop learning. I'm not telling you that. Learning is never the problem. But I want you to ask you the honest question before you will sign up for the next one. Am I buying a knowledge, or am I buying permission to believe in myself? Because if permission is needed, no course will ever give it to you, not at any price. Because permission is not for sale. You give it to yourself by showing up, doing the work, making mistakes, yes, and trusting your results you've been getting for the past couple years. Because I will tell you, you are probably more ready than you think. But the question is, if you are ready to act like it. If this landed, you can download my free guide below. It's called You Are Good, So Why Aren't You Fully Booked? Because being good never was the issue. It never is. So thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next one.